Go live. We're recording
Me?
now, guys.
Oh, yeah, I've got questions.
You do?
Yeah, I want to know all about it.
All right, welcome to the
Seems
Practical
interesting.
Pistol Show, people. Again, my name is Ben. We're here to answer your shooting questions. Today, we're getting to the Promise podcast that Matt and I have been planning all summer, haven't we, Matt?
Yep.
Well, what's it like shooting these uppity, faggy European IPSC matches? Right?
I guess.
All right, so let's talk about we've done two together, Matt. I've shot a lot more, but we've done two together. We did CZ Extreme, which by European standards was excellent, right? Ran like clockwork.
Probably the best organized and ran match I've ever shot.
Yes.
Easily by far.
We also shot the European Handgun Championship, which by European standards was a shit show, right?
Yeah, I was about to say probably one of the worst organizationally I've ever shot.
Which the attitude of the shooters there was that it was a shit show, right?
Yeah, it was totally
there was a lot of blowback on it. Well, when you say it was totally fucked up, you should explain what was fucked up about it.
Well, I mean, it was a multitude of things.
Right.
So they have a waterproof target available in Europe, and the forecast called for rain. Huh?
In Norway. They're lovely. I've shot them.
They're pretty impressive by what I've heard.
Oh, dude. They are boner-inducing, these targets.
Supposedly they can set a target out and shoot it for 3 months on the same target. Right?
I don't know about 3 months. I personally shot them for 2 weeks. The same targets on the same, they never moved. And it was wet out. It was raining. And we didn't change, because they left up a whole match. And I was just using a couple of bays from the match. And then when I wasn't doing my thing, I would go fuck around on the stages that were left up. And there was the same targets from the match stapled there. And I would shoot them up some more. And it was raining and shit outside. They were fine. Yeah, these targets are
corrugated
awesome.
plastic or something? Or?
No, I think they're covered in wax.
Yeah.
They're a little expensive, but, for a big match, they make a lot of sense. So, yeah, so they didn't get the waterproof targets. They didn't have enough helpers. They weren't really Johnny on the spot with the gravel for the stages, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really nail down the catering for the opening ceremony. There was supposed to be more booze or something, and there wasn't that much. It wasn't unclear how to get your guest. In my case, it was my wife. It was unclear how to buy her a ticket for the closing ceremony. I mean, things like that. It was unclear if there would be a shoot-offs. Because it
was a lot of communication issues.
Right. So Tim, as I'm laying out these issues, how bad does that sound to you?
That sounds pretty bad.
Really?
Especially for a match that happens every 3 years, once every 3 years.
Well, hold on. Compare that to the matches you've shot. No waterproof targets, not Johnny on the spot with the gravel.
Compared to USPSA standards, fuck, it sounds like another day in the damn office for us. I mean,
exactly. This is what I explained to the Europeans. I'm like, I don't know, you guys are really pissed, but it's that, because I was surprisingly chipper, I guess, during this. And it was by their standards, this was a shit show, and by our standard, I'm we still didn't paste a target the whole time.
True.
Oh my God.
And I felt bad about that. I'm I'm willing to help because this is, there's not enough helpers. And it was nope. Okay, so
wow.
Well, another thing was they had porta potties on site, but they never cleaned them out for the whole 7-day match.
Again, another day in the office for USPS.
Yeah, it does say sounds like a local level too.
Yeah, and it does sound like that, but it shouldn't be that way for a match that is 3 years in the making. You got so many people there. All the basically, if you don't shoot in the U.S., this is the match of the year for this year. Yes. This is a prelude to the World Shoot.
It's an uber prestigious match.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the Eurotrash. We don't give a shit, obviously, but I'm joking, European listeners. making a joke. Don't get upset. I know English is their second language, most of them, so they may not get it. Anyway, just fucking around.
They all speak it pretty well.
They do, but they
They're
don't
gonna understand it.
They may not understand my dry humor.
True.
So they had lots of rain.
Yeah.
Rain, you can't help that.
You can't help that.
You cannot help the rain, but you can help
how you prepare for it.
Prepared for the rain or
Right.
the after effects of the rain.
Okay. So anyway, we've shot these 2 matches. One excellent, one not. Tim, what questions do you have about the European match experience? We're talking about fucking stages, like what it's like with the dudes, all that
tell me
shit.
about the stages. I want to know, like, really, like, honestly, because it's something, like, stages, I don't want to say stages are stages, because obviously their stages, I don't know, just watching, like, all the YouTube footage and stuff, like, Kita did the YouTube footage of you
right.
shitting.
You haven't seen a match video of me in a long time.
Not
right?
in a
Nobody
long
has.
time. So
but
that
the
was
reason
very refreshing.
the reason there was a European Handgun Championship match video is because I wanted people to see the stages.
Dude, it was mind-blowing. Just like the planning and how they do it, how they decorate things. It's really, really cool. So, but like, obviously we know it's holes in paper, shooting some steel, moving targets and all kinds of shit. But like pomp and circumstance to a match like that. Like there's an opening ceremony and a closing ceremony. And it just seems so, to me, that makes the match more prestigious.
I have mixed feelings about that. I think the opening ceremony, like, it was, what was it, Matt? It was a parade. So all the regions get organized in their countries. It was we got organized. The 2 guys from the U.S. stand together, and then we have then we have a little Hungarian girl walking in front of us in a parade with a sign that says United States, which was literally, it was laughable to have 2 guys from a huge region like the United States, and people laughed at us.
I was impressed they actually had stuff there.
For us?
Yeah.
Like they had an American flag for Hopkins to hold.
Yeah, and a sign that said United States on it.
Right, so every region had a flag and had a little person with a card saying what region they were from. So, like, to be honest, the parade, that's not really my thing, but it's fine to do, like, I guess once every 3 years. It was okay. Then you go to everybody walk to a square, and then you get addressed by a bunch of it was executive council guys, right? And the match director, and a speech about how
there was like some city delegates and some people from the army.
So there's a bunch
of speeches.
Basically, there's a bunch of fucking suits on a stage that give speeches that are boring as shit. Like, I didn't care for that. And then the parade marched up to a castle, which was okay. The castle was interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
And then there was supposed to be a lot of drinks and booze and shit there, which I guess there was some, but not enough, which I didn't give a shit about that. After that, we went to dinner. So that was the opening thing, which was, I mean, I'm describing it pretty fairly. Like, boring speeches, yeah. I mean, that's how it's going to be. You're not going to make that stuff interesting. No way. But the parade with all the regions wearing their sort of their national team jerseys and all that, I mean, that's okay. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, so that was the opening. The closing ceremony is just basically an awards dinner. That's all that. It's not much of a ceremony, but all the people dress up for it. I mean, I didn't, but most people dress pretty nice. There's actually a dress code now because of me. That's my contribution to the sport. You know how Happy Gilmore took off his skate and tried to stab somebody?
Yeah.
I wore flip-flops to a closing ceremony one time, and now there's a rule saying you can't.
I remember that.
Yes, so that's all me. I'm sorry about that. I'm not really sorry about it, but so the closing ceremony is basically an awards dinner where the food is nicer and there's booze and they give some boring speeches about what an awesome match it was. And
they actually did not this year.
Right, they didn't do that. And
Nick said it wasn't one of our best showings, which was a departure in his normal.
Yes,
speech.
so the normal speech is this was the best Europeans ever, or this is the best world shoot ever, that's normal. But it was a big step but apparently that it was acknowledged that there were some issues at the match. So people clapped and cheered when Homeboy said it wasn't a great match.
That he was actually honest about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big step. I mean, baby, step by step, we're gonna get
It
there. I
was
guess
actually pretty big for them.
for them it was a big deal. And then they hand out the awards. They have a podium. The winners, they play their national anthem.
You got to stand up every time.
Yeah.
So
It was
it's
like stand down.
so
sit
it's
up
like
every
it's
5
like a
minutes.
shooting Olympics.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, yeah. And like that was fine. Like I would not want to do a closing ceremony like that every goddamn match in the US because that adds
I
a
agree.
bunch of time. But if you're gonna fly to a different country and be there for like a week and a half, like
Now,
I don't
I
really
think,
mind.
I always preach about make the shooters want to stay around, right?
I don't know. I've never
Having
heard you
this
preach
kind
about
of,
that bullshit.
I've said it before. I know
Okay.
you guys both have heard it.
Mhm.
This kind of thing would actually make people stay around for. So, like, they take it seriously.
Yes,
is
they
what
do.
I like about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the opening and the closing. As far as the stages, IPSC runs on the guideline of 3-2-1,
Mhm.
which is 3 short courses, 2 medium courses, 1 long course. There's a bunch of guidelines for how those stages play out. Short courses are capped at 12 rounds, then
24.
24, and then 32 for the long courses. They do the shooting in zones. That's very common for IPSC. So, like the Czech match is 30 stages in 3 zones. You shoot a 10-stage zone every day that you shoot. I like the zone format a lot. It makes a lot
We
of
kind of
sense.
run a zone format this year at
The
USPSA
USPSA
production,
has-
right?
Yeah,
USPSA has
they've
been,
adopted it.
yes, we've adopted it because it's an idea that's very sensible.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is having helper space targets, but
well, we'll get there.
we're still
Maybe.
working on that.
We're still working on it. Yeah, so the zone format, like for Europeans, it was you shoot 3 short courses, 2 medium courses, and 1 long course each day in that zone. So I would say probably the key for the stage design is diversity. There's more diversity in those matches for sure. Like you can pretty much bank on seeing awkward positions in a match, strong hand shooting, weak hand shooting. There's a lot more moving targets in IPSC, I would say.
Mhm.
That's a pretty common How many movers would you say there were, Matt, in a 24 stage Europeans?
I'd say there was at least 24.
No, I think there was more. The average had to be a little over 1 a stage, I would think.
Yeah.
God,
Probably
you had
1.5,
ones.
maybe
I mean,
36.
looking at the video, you had some that like tracked across. You had others that kind of dropped down. You had some that popped up and disappeared. You had bobbers. You had swingers. You had just
It's
like,
stuff
God.
that we had to pull a rope that it was a self-activated mover. So
Actually, now I'm thinking about it. The average number of movers
probably
per
2.
stage was probably 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean that's normal. You're going to see a lot more moving targets in IPSC.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I obviously I like that. That's interesting. There was a lot of change ups from like close paper targets to steel targets, things like that. In terms of stage design, I would say the stages, since they're lower round count, they obviously tend to be a lot less complex, which I think it's a good thing for that format because here's a big change for you, Tim. You're not allowed on the stages,
Right.
so
And you don't get 5-minute walkthroughs.
You do get. What did you get? 3 minutes, Matt? Did we get
3
3
minutes for short, 4 for medium, 5 for long.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how much time you get. You're not allowed on before, which that's a big adjustment for us,
Mhm.
of course. But what kind of balances that out is that you don't, since you're not busy pasting and resetting. Like one thing about the flavor there that I really like is there's no motherfuckers like stay with your squad. You gotta stay with your squad. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Like honestly,
True.
nobody cares. So if you're third up on a stage, you shoot that stage, and then you pick up your shit and walk to the next stage and sit there and watch, because you're going to be second up on that stage, right?
Mhm.
So you watch the whole squad before you shoot, and you shoot it. You pick up your shit, walk to the next stage,
And you're
and
first
you're
up.
first on that stage, so you can sit there and watch people shoot it. So yeah, you only get 5 minutes actually in the inside the fault lines to look at the stage, but you're probably going to get a lot of time to sit there
Yeah,
and kind of get a
you
good
get a
idea of
lot
what's
of
going
review
on.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're not
okay.
worried about pasting shit, and you know, I like. I mean, obviously, it's really cool to like shoot a stage, and then you could like wander on down the range for 10 minutes and talk to your friends or whatever, and then wander back, and nobody gives a fuck because you're not resetting. You don't have to stay with your squad. That's
True.
that's something
God,
that I like,
that's kind of refreshing.
isn't it? Though.
Yeah.
It's actually very good, and it's the only way you can fairly do the no walkthroughs on the stages.
Yeah, like if you have to reset and you don't get a walkthrough, it's super gay.
It's fuck, dude. There were some short courses where 3 minutes, we barely got the whole squad of 16 shooters through to like get on the stage.
To get on the stage and look at it once. Yeah, at the
because it was like a one position thing, and you had to use an activated prop. So like trying to run everybody through that in 16 minutes, you really didn't have time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other major differences would you say there are, Hopkins?
Do they supply water?
Hell no.
No, there's no water.
Okay.
They don't do it in the Czech Republic either. So.
But what they do have in Europe, there's a lot of places you get off at a rest stop and you have to like put a coin in a thing to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean, Tim? So the thing
it's a different culture. So
yeah,
I think that's cultural.
Yes, but what they do have is food vendors on site operating constantly. So if you want something to eat or drink, you're going to be covered no matter what.
Okay.
You follow me? So it's like you're not really hurting for that stuff. You just have to pay for it. And you can get more stuff. Like there's going to be somebody there selling coffee or whatever kind of bullshit. Like that's normal. And as far as the shooters' attitudes, I would say, I mean, like any big match, you know, there's guys that are pretty serious. I would say generally people are pretty serious. What I really liked, I really liked is how how the attitude about how the matches should be. Like, I would say they hold the matches to a lot higher standard. They're they want it to be like they want it to be really good. So that's something that I like about it a lot.
It seemed like that. Even like I said, just watching the videos, there was a live feed that was also on YouTube. I was kind of watching that stuff too.
That was not the match. That was the Czech guys. That was CZUB.
That was not part of the match.
Okay. But like being able to see just like how, like I don't know, like I said, kind of how dolled up the stages are. You know, like fake trees and stuff, kind of sitting out little planters and but like. Just even like the walls and construction of the stages and stuff seem like just, I don't know, a completely different flavor and higher quality than I think than kind of what we see.
The setup tends to be very clean for those matches. Is that a fair way to describe it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they want stuff to look nice and look clean. And the reason that you saw potted plants at the Europeans was in IPSC you're not allowed to run outside of fault lines. So what that means is you have a sharp corner. What they'll typically do is put a barrel on that corner so you can't cut the corner.
Okay.
And one way to have a nice looking barrel is to use a potted plant instead.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why. But yeah, that's another thing. Like they take care about sort of the way it looks, which some ranges do here and some ranges don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care that much about it. I like to have a nice design for a stage rather than have it look nice.
Yeah.
But yes, that's also important. Good. So, Tim.
Yes.
Last chance. Any other questions about the Eurotrash match experience? So I'm happy to answer questions.
How they do the breakup? Obviously, you shot 24 stages at the European match?
Well, since we hit some weather, it was so. This is one thing I don't like. So a lot of Americans who've shot IPSC matches, like the match that they've shot is the World Shoot.
Right.
Okay, so that's what they think IPSC is. And it's not. That's like one match that's going to be run differently than all the other matches. The other match that's run differently is the Europeans, because I think the executive council has kind of a hand in running the World Shoot and the Europeans. All right, I'm getting to a point here. So as a result, they get a shitload of people into these matches. So the Europeans had how many shooters, Matt? 1,000?
1,200, I think.
1,200 shooters at the Europeans.
Wow.
Well, you say, wow, like that's awesome. But what that means is you've got 24 stages, 6 stage zones. You're going to shoot 4 zones in 4 half days. The match takes place over 5 days. So you get 4 days of shooting and 1 day off.
Okay.
You with me? And then on 16-person squads. So that's done to get a lot of motherfuckers into the match. That's the reason that happens. Now, like for us being in Hungary, in a country we've never been in, a day off is not a bad thing.
Right. Gives you an opportunity to kind of see the sights and
but
experience the country.
Yes, generally at a match, I would not like a day off.
Oh, yeah. Like, who wants to go to, like, Area 3 and spend a day off in Grand Island, Nebraska, right?
You got a pretty good point there,
Tim. You're hitting them out of the park.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Nebraska.
Yeah.
So that was part of the experience. So that's how it was formatted. And so for us, since we hit weather, and we got all fucked up, like the day that was Tuesday.
We lost an hour on a prop malfunction.
Yeah, Tuesday afternoon. Like, so our odds were not that good of having to shoot on a Tuesday afternoon because of the scheduling and stuff. But we did. We had to shoot on Tuesday afternoon. And Tuesday afternoon got fucked up like a football bat because of the weather, and there was prop malfunctions. And because of the weather, apparently a bunch of the helpers weren't there. So it ran slow. So we ended up shooting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we had to finish 2 stages from Tuesday on Saturday morning.
Wow.
Which sucked. Yeah. I'd like to say it's not anyone's fault, but it was definitely someone's fault.
How does the shoot-off work?
The shoot-off is well, typically that's man-on-man steel, but CZ's running a Super 6, which is essentially a demonstration. It's a demo of the sport, where you just have the top 6 guys in each division, like kind of basically shoot stages, and then they start like eliminating dudes, and then there's a winner. That's how that works, and that's a CZ thing. That's the guys running the match. I don't think have anything to do with that. I kind of
dug that format. Though it was kind of neat.
Yeah, the attitude at the shoot-offs is interesting because that's just the shoot-offs is not a serious thing. Like that's not like a serious competition. That's more like, hey, the match is over. Let's just cut loose. And if you're one of the guys in the shoot-offs, like you get up there and dance for the man, and give the people a show and have fun.
Right.
So I've participated in shoot-offs before at CZ Extreme and at the World Shoot and that kind of thing. The shoot-offs are something that have kind of died out in the U.S.
Definitely.
Like it's not a thing that we do. I could take it or leave it. I don't give a shit about it. Being in a foreign country at a match like that, I don't have anything else to do, so the shoot-offs isn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm at an area match and I shoot on a Friday, I'm gonna peace out of there, and the shoot-offs isn't gonna happen. So that's cool. That's fine. Yes.
Cool.
Good. Anything else, Tim, or shall we do a shooting question?
Let's do a shooting question. You pretty much answered my questions.
Yeah, I mean, people always find that shit interesting. They're like, what's that Euro bullshit like? I'm like, I'll tell you. All right. Here's a question. Whenever I dry fire, I tend to suck at whatever I don't end my dry fire with at the next match. For example, if I dry fire transitions or position exits, like a speed-oriented thing, the next time I shoot a match, I'll be fast, but pulling off targets like crazy. If I practice group shooting, or sort of trigger press, accuracy-oriented stuff, I'll look at the video from the next match and look slow as shit, but my hits will be better. So this guy's wondering, what's the solution to this problem?
I think if it's a dry fire thing, especially in with his transitions, with regards to transitions, I think it's too easy to race the timer, too easy to lie to yourself or fool yourself into thinking you're seeing things you're really maybe not spinning the time or paying attention to see.
Yeah, this guy sounds like
So
he's doing his dry fire all fucked up.
yeah, yep.
I think he's maybe taken the last thing he practices and carrying it over to what he's thinking about at the match.
Yes, and it sounds like
If
he's practicing that thing wrong.
You think?
Well, if you're working on target transitions in dry fire and then you go and immediately start pulling off targets in live fire, I propose that you're pulling off targets in dry fire and just not seeing it.
Right.
When did he say he was pulling off the targets? I thought he said he was thinking about that.
If I dry fire transitions, and then you put in parentheses speed oriented, the next time I shoot a match, I'll be fast, but pulling off targets like crazy, he says.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's doing it wrong.
Speed oriented means he's probably throwing some crazy fucking par time down in dry fire, and he's not allowing himself to see what he needs to see what he needs to see. He's not allowing himself to actually see sight pictures like he needs to rep in how he needs to for better transitions. So yeah, then he's going to a match and he's pulling off everything because he's been dry firing like a retard.
Yeah, so typically, what this email should read is, after I practice something, I go to a match and I do that thing really well. It shouldn't be, when I practice something, I go to the match and I'm bad at that thing. It's like, you're definitely, the answer is you're doing the practice wrong. Definitely. That's not what should be like. This is the opposite of the thing that should happen.
I think it's great to push speed, even to the point you're pushing speed so much the wheels fall off in dry fire. But I don't think you end on yeah, motherfucker, I killed this 3 target transition in 0.8 of a second when you know as well as I do. There's no way you're going to do that in real life. So slow yourself back, come out of it, and end your practice on knowing what it's like to see sight pictures for every single as you transition. Relearn that match speed again a little bit, so that you're seeing stuff right.
Well,
right? Make sense?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's fine to dry fire until the wheels fall off, but you got to see the wheels fall off. You have to be able to recognize what's happened. So you could not do that. Usually when it comes to target transitions in dry fire, people are pulling the gun off the target and not seeing it. They're not seeing the mistake, because the difference, it could be a couple hundredths of a second is the difference between staying on target for both of your dry fire shots and not. And you have to really be paying attention.
Yep.
And then if the guy's working on accuracy in dry fire, he probably just goes slow and focuses on accuracy. And then it's like, oh, well, look, in the match I go slow. The solution to that is to focus on accuracy, but do it at your regular speed.
Yes.
Right? Just get more accurate shooting at a proper speed.
Correct.
That's my feeling. Good. Well, you know what, guys? This was a fun, quick little podcast, don't you think?
Definitely.
I don't think it was very quick, but yeah.
Just 28 minutes and 52 seconds, Hoser.
Are we still on?
Are you going to say something fucked up?
No.
Okay, yeah, then we're still on.
I was going to ask one more thing about the European Handgun Championship. Why the white targets?
Oh, fuck! That was probably the most interesting thing. So
it was actually.
So the word before, so in IPSC, you're allowed to change the target colors for the match. It's not going to be all fucked up every stage, but they're allowed to change it up at a match. The word was the range. They're like, oh, the range is brown. And I was thinking, that sounds weird because all the ranges here are brown, but apparently the range is very brown. So for the contrast, we're going to run white shoot targets. The no shoots will be red, hardcover will be black, and the steel will be yellow. So there'll be plenty of contrast for everything. You can tell what's what. We get there, and it's a regular looking shooting range for us, right? Like dirt background, and the shoot targets are white. And I'll tell you what, I loved it.
Oh, I'll bet. The contrast of sights
Yes,
target. It's got to be badass.
it was
Yeah, it was. It was
fantastic.
fun.
It was great. It was a lot of the European guys were looking at this like, why the fuck didn't we think of this sooner? And I was thinking like, I don't know.
So did they? I mean, was the cardboard already colored that, or or were these printed out targets that were already these colors, or did they literally paint every target white and red? And I mean,
No, I think they printed the targets white, but they had to paint the no shoots red.
okay,
Yeah, I agree. That's what I think happened.
okay,
That's what it looked like from like.
Yes, from like 10 feet away, that's what it looked like to
Yeah.
me. I practiced on that color scheme before the match, and it took me about 5 minutes to figure out that it was going to be no problem. It was going to be fine. It was a lot of contrast on the sites. Really easy to tell where everything was. So It was cool. I'm not saying that we should change our shit to that in the U.S., but
No, but I think it would be fun to do like at a match sometime.
well, I wouldn't do it strictly for fun, but improving the target situation for big matches, like if you're running a match in a place that is not the desert, it's running especially a big match, it seems really stupid to not have the waterproof targets at least on hand should you need them.
We need to look into that.
It's been looked into. People just have to pay the money for them.
Right.
Well, it's fucking worth it if it's going to rain.
Yeah, because then you don't have to bag the targets. It's fucking so awesome. Oh my god. It's just better.
That's awesome.
Yes. Well.
Okay, that's the other question I have. I was like, God, what else? Yeah, colors, target colors. That was cool.
All right. Well, if you think of some question regarding a Eurofag match, send it to benstecker.com and Matt will answer it for you. How's that sound, guys?
Sounds good.
All right, and if you would like to see a video of the European Handgun Championship, I'm going to put that in the show notes, the YouTube description for this. So if you're listening to the audio rip, go find this shit on YouTube, and then you can watch the Europeans video if you're so inclined, if you like that sort of thing.
It's good stuff, guys.
It's not really. It's kind of boring, but maybe give you an idea of what's going on.